They walked out of AT&T Stadium with barely enough time for a walk-off exhale, and Patrick Mahomes didn't bother dressing up the reality. The Chiefs are feeling the kind of pressure they've rarely known in his tenure. They're in the same desperation right now that we are, Mahomes said after a 31-28 loss to the Cowboys, and they played better over 4 quarters than we did. Yahoo Teithao, on paper, this was the kind of thriller we expect in late November. Two elite quarterbacks trading blows, big plays, and a finish that lived on the margins. Mahomes was brilliant enough to throw 4 touchdown passes and keep Kansas City alive in the final minutes, finishing 23 of 34 for 261 yards and 4 scores. But the box score that mattered against Dallas was not just Mahomes' heroics. It was the way drives died on penalties and the inability to sustain at third down. KMBC Kansas City was flagged 10 times for 119 yards, a season-high penalty tally that repeatedly erased momentum and extended Cowboys' drives at critical moments. Those flags weren't trivial. Multiple defensive pass interference and holding calls directly prolonged Dallas clock-killing sequences and helped set up the late possession that iced the game. Andy Reid admitted the team must clean it up, but the truth is blunt. You don't win tense games when penalties are gifting first downs. KMBC, the third down battle, told the same story. Dallas converted 9 of 16 third down chances. Kansas City managed only 5 of 13. In a season where consistency is the currency of contenders, the Chiefs' inability to flip third downs into possessions was a recurring tax, one that turned a performance full of sparks into a late-night regret. Mahomes' post-game message was unvarnished. The team's ceiling is still Super Bowl level, but only if they become reliably better week to week. We can beat anybody, but we've shown that we can lose to anybody, he said, stressing the need for consistency. NFL.com injury chaos didn't help. The line took hits. Left tackle Josh Simmons suffered a dislocated fractured wrist, and right tackle Jawan Taylor was out with an elbow issue, and the protection cracks showed. But schematic and execution errors compounded the physical problems. Some penalties looked like reactions to the Cowboys' physical receivers. Others felt like self-inflicted slips at the wrong time. Head coach Andy Reid called the officiating not always something he'd agree with, but he also acknowledged the team's responsibility. Clean up the fundamentals, minimize dumb mistakes, and start turning late-game magic into routine execution. WRL news for Mahomes: the math is simple and brutal. Kansas City sits at 6-6 with a gauntlet ahead. Chargers, Broncos, and other playoff-hungry teams loom, and the margin for error is paper thin. Projections saw Kansas City's playoff chances dip after the loss. Mahomes knows the only plan that removes doubt is to win every remaining week and let the tiebreakers sort themselves. He didn't couch it in motivational fluff. At the end of the day, you just got to win every game and hope that's enough, he said, putting the responsibility on a team that has to convert its talent into consistent results. Newsweek: there are silver linings. Mahomes still makes the impossible possible, and his late-game inventions, escape throws, darts into tiny windows, and on-the-move magic keep Kansas City alive even when the rest of the roster slides. Rashee Rice and others showed they can deliver in the red zone. But a quarterback, no matter how transcendent, cannot erase repeated breakdowns in place-kicking situations, penalties, and third-down efficiency. The Chiefs must solve both pocket security and discipline, or they risk watching a dynastic run buckle under familiar, avoidable errors. NFL.com: the narrative that matters now is practical, not poetic. This team has championship DNA and a quarterback who believes the ceiling is a Super Bowl. But belief is not execution. Mahomes' candid admission about desperation is less a surrender than a diagnosis. The Chiefs know they're in a pressure cooker, and they know what must change. Whether that wake-up call produces structural fixes, cleaner play, healthier line play, fewer penalties, will determine whether this season becomes a rallying comeback or the first missed postseason of Mahomes' illustrious starting run. Yahoo Teithao: if you remember one image from this game, let it be this: 2 elite teams in a late-season standoff. One walking away with a narrow victory built on fewer mistakes and cleaner situational football. The other left to answer hard questions about consistency, discipline, and the work that turns talent into trophies. Mahomes still believes in the ceiling. The rest is on the Chiefs to prove it. Yahoo Fatal.